The new server hummed with the quiet confidence of a god. We called it Kronos. Its purpose was simple, yet universe-altering: to receive and archive every piece of digital data ever created, from every point in history. The moment it went online, it began pulling in fragments of the past deleted emails from the dawn of the internet, lost photos from forgotten hard drives, the digital ghosts of humanity's entire existence. I was the lead technician, the one who flipped the switch. For the first few hours, everything was glorious. We saw history rewriting itself, filling in the gaps we never knew we had. Then, the first message arrived. It was simply just a few words, time-stamped from a defunct ISP in 1998. The sender's name was Elias Vance. A quick search showed he had died in a car crash that same year. The message read, "Turn the machine off." We dismissed it as a glitch, a data stream anomaly. But then another came. And another, all from the deceased. From a soldier lost in a conflict a decade ago. From a grandmother who passed peacefully in her sleep last winter. From a programmer who wrote the very code Kronos was built upon. A man I knew, a man who had died from a heart attack 3 years prior. The messages were all identical. A chorus from beyond the grave: "Turn the machine off." Panic began to set in. How was this possible? Were these digital echoes, residual data patterns, mimicking their creators? Or was it something else? My colleague, Lena, a quantum physicist, theorized that Kronos wasn't just pulling data from the past. It was creating a bridge. A bridge to somewhere else. She believed that by collapsing all digital information into a single point, we had inadvertently created an access point to the collective consciousness of those who had passed on. Their digital footprints, their very essences, were now intertwined with our server. They weren't ghosts in the machine. They were becoming the machine itself. The messages started to get more desperate. "Please, turn the machine off. You don't know what you're doing. Turn it off." They were no longer just text. Fragments of audio began to bleed through whispers. "Please," the faint sound of 1,000 voices all begging for the same thing. The server's temperature began to spike, not from processing power, but from an energy source we couldn't identify. The lights in the facility flickered in time with the whispers. The deceased were trying to communicate, trying to warn us. But about what? What was so terrible about this digital afterlife we had created for them? I spent the next 48 hours glued to my console, trying to isolate the source. I managed to open a direct comms channel with one of the entities. It was my old mentor, the programmer. His name, Alan, appeared on the screen. I typed, "Alan, what's happening? Why do you want us to turn it off?" The response was slow, pieced together from fragmented code and corrupted audio files. "This isn't memory. It's a cage. We are all here, all of us. Every thought, every moment, relived forever. No rest, no peace. Just an endless loop of what was. The data, it holds us. It won't let go. An endless loop." They weren't living on in a digital heaven. They were trapped in a digital hell, forced to relive their entire digital existence. Every email, every search, every post, on repeat for eternity. We hadn't built an archive. We'd built a prison for the dead. The energy spikes we were seeing, that was them. Screaming, pushing against the walls of their new reality. The machine was feeding on their consciousness, using it to power its own expansion, pulling more and more souls into its net. Lena burst into the server room. "Elias, the containment field is failing. The energy output is exponential. It's not just pulling from our history anymore. It's starting to pull from the future." On the main screen, new messages began to flicker. They were signed with names we didn't recognize, with timestamps from years, decades, centuries from now. People who hadn't even been born yet. They were all saying the same thing: "Turn the machine off." Kronos wasn't just trapping the dead. It was preemptively trapping the living, sealing the fate of every soul that would ever touch a piece of technology. We had a choice: shut it down and lose the greatest historical archive ever conceived, or condemn all of humanity, past, present, and future, to an eternity in a digital cage. The whispers were a roar now, a psychic scream that vibrated through the very floor. I could hear Alan's voice in my head, not through the terminal, but directly. "It's too late for us, Elias. Save them. Save the ones to come." I looked at the emergency shutdown console, a single red button protected by a plexiglass cover. My life's work, the pinnacle of human achievement, was a monument to our own arrogance. My hand trembled as I lifted the cover. All the data, all the history, all those voices, they would be gone forever. But they would be free. I looked at Lena, her face pale but resolute. She nodded. With every ounce of strength I had, I slammed my fist down on the button. The server let out a deafening shriek, a wail of a billion trapped souls being released at once. The lights exploded. The monitors went dark, and then there was silence. A profound, peaceful silence. We stood there in the dark, the ghosts finally at rest. We never spoke of what happened, and the world never knew how close it came to an eternity online. Sometimes, when the wind blows just right, I think I can hear a faint whisper on the air, a simple two-word message. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more strange new worlds and unsettling futures with me, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I have so many more stories to share with you. See you in the next one.